The governing New Patriotic Party, the NPP, will organize regional executive elections beginning tomorrow, Saturday. Kamaldeen Abdullahi, National Nasara Coordinator of the NPP, also aspiring national youth organizer of the party, joins me live in studio for more on the back of this. Good morning to you. Welcome to the studio.
Good morning, Mama V.
So you're organizing the regional executives elections beginning tomorrow across the country.
Well, yes, but let me put this on record. We're not organizing regional executive elections. We're organizing regional delegates conference.
Okay.
Which is what the constitution of our party has mandated us to do. It's an annual regional delegates conference. And at that conference, if it so happens that the mandate of the current executives has expired, which of course is the case, then as part of the items, we're going to have regional elections held.
Okay, so therefore, there will still be regional executive elections.
Absolutely. But then it's just part of the item. I'm putting the record straight because that is not holistically what the case is, that we're going for regional election.
Okay.
We're going for regional delegates conference,
okay,
as mandated by the constitution. And per that, we're going to have as an item electing new executive for our regional structure, executive structure.
Very well. So paint the picture, what's going to happen across the country tomorrow?
Well, Mama V is interesting, and I will use or seize this opportunity to say a very, if you like, well-wishing statement, or make a very well-wishing statement to each and everyone who's contesting. We have over 404 candidates contesting for various positions in this particular, regional reorganization. Talking about the 10 regions that we do have. We have positions to be contested for includes a chairperson, first vice chairperson, second vice chairperson. We're talking about secretaries, we're talking about assistant secretary, we're talking about organizer, we're talking about youth organizer, women organizer, and the Nasara coordinator, as it were.
At the regional level.
Absolutely. These positions will be contested for. And in all the 10 regions, tomorrow is going to begin. We have the time spanning from 21st to 24th, unless otherwise a force majeure forces for an event to be postponed to a later date. But we are expecting that, all things being equal, from 21st to 24th of April, we're going to have our regional delegates conferences held, and by that, some elections will be held. 6 regions will be holding theirs tomorrow.
Okay.
We have one of it being Ashanti region. We have also Koforidua in the eastern region will be held. We have also Accra, Greater Accra will be doing it tomorrow at the trade fair. And we also have Bolgatanga, which is the upper east region, where they'll be doing at the Nat Hall and all that. And then finally, we have Volta region, they'll be doing in Hohoi tomorrow. After that, on the 22nd, we're going to have other regions following suit. And on the 23rd, in Napa West region, where I'm going to be to supervise the election, will be held on the 23rd as well. The northern region is going to be held on the 28th because, like I said, unless otherwise there's an issue that warrants the pushing of the election to a particular date. In the northern region, for instance, we're having some constituencies yet to do their election. The Naleru Gambal constituency 1, we're talking about the Tatali constituency, we will be doing their elections tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we just had the Boya Mankargu doing their election about 3 days ago and all that. I mean, we wanted to get all of them to be part of the process.
But of course, you had outstanding issues in the constituency executive elections, which, if you like, has affected this one. Otherwise, everybody
it would not affect.
You see,
when you take the constitution of our party, it tells you where the delegates base constitute more than 2/3 or constitute 2/3. Then the rest who are still having issues hanging, of course, will not only take part, but then it will not stop the process. So in the northern region, for instance, we just thought, okay, let's give them a bit of a time, and then say, okay, Tatale would have DS. We just got the Boya Mankargu having DS. We got Bimbila doing it yesterday.
Okay.
And of course, let me seize the opportunity to thank and to wish or congratulate all those who won, especially the youth organizer, Fuseni, if he's watching this morning. And of course, if you live there, we're having Yunyo also hanging. Then we have the Naleru Gambaga hanging. If these ones are done, then we add it up. Then we'll be able to do the election on the 28th of this month. So Northern region is the only place we're going to have it on the 28th, as agreed by the party. We've also come out, let me make this clear, we've come out with the regulations guiding these elections and this process. I remember the last NEC meeting we had, discussed the regulations, came out with all the regulations, spelled out the composition of delegates, spelled out how we're going to pick our forms and file, and everything that has to do with it.
Is it different from what you've been practicing for a while now?
Not entirely different, but you agree with me that politics is not static. It's very dynamic. Of course, as we grow, there are a lot of changes that will come into it. Hitherto, maybe if we hadn't got certain things done, today we have to fine-tune and get them done. Like I said, we have come up with a regulation, and the regulation also spells out clearly that Electoral Commission, of Ghana would actually be responsible in conducting this election for us. We're paying for it as a party, and we're employing them to come in so that there could be that transparency and independent, handling of affairs.
Well, we know that the Electoral Commission handles a lot of these party elections. Why is it? Is it like a deliberate attempt to say it out there that the Electoral Commission is regulating this and we're paying them for it?
No, we've always had them. No, of course, that is a state body.
Okay.
And once a state body, a political party being a public institution as well, of course, we know we all that, but yet we stand on our own. We then come in to say, look, you're a state body, you're credible, you're supposed to handle election matters per the Constitution. We are hiring you, or we want you to assist us in doing this. Maybe we not just say, let me not use the word hiring. We want you to assist us. Then they go like, okay, it comes with cost. Printing of ballots, doing blah, 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 getting ballot
So how much
boxes,
is it costing you to get the Electoral Commission involved in this process?
Figures will be given to you by the National Treasurer. Obviously, he would have to deal with them in terms of the finances.
I thought you were a national executive of the party.
I am a national executive. Obviously, that's why we are segmented. I'm a national Nasara coordinator. And of course, I have been the Deputy Director of Operation during the campaign. And what we're doing now involves operation as well. And I'm part of the operation and assisting the acting general secretary.
But how much was budgeted for this process?
Well, I'm sure when it comes to figures, we're going to come out with that. But you see, we're getting our patrons in the various regions assisting in some of these processes and paying monies to that. We're getting our monies that we have as dues and all that coming on board. And like, for example, we have special contribution in this party. You'll be surprised that you take a region like Upper West and somebody comes out to say, look, I'm a patron of the party. I am going to support in the payment of this. So if I'm not in Upper West yet, I'm unable to tell now that this is the amount of money that we have spent in Upper West. But nonetheless, the national coffers of the party will also come out with a little through the treasury of the party.
Would we know how much you've spent on this at the end of this process?
For sure. That is why the law mandates every political party to submit your accounts to the Electoral Commission. And I believe that our treasurer is up to task on that. And we will always make sure that whatever we do is accounted for per the law and ensure that we file that accordingly.
Let's talk about security. What's the plan?
Yes, it is obvious that we're going to use the police. We've written to the police already in the various regions. We've informed them about it. Our various regional chairmen who are now there have written, and adequate preparation has been put in place to ensure that nothing goes untoward. I am very sure that the police are much more involved in this process, and they are going to, if you like, do a very just job on that day.
So are there still outstanding issues even with those who are contesting tomorrow, who are expected to contest in the regional elections?
No, not to my knowledge. I'm being honest with you. We've got, you see, it's a process. And per the regulation, which I did mention earlier on, we're supposed to have your forms, nomination form being being picked up, filled, and submitted. Then, of course, having submitted those forms, you're supposed to go through what we call vetting process. Now, having been vetted and cleared, then, of course, you do balloting. Having had the balloting, you go about campaigning and wait until the D-Day, which is tomorrow, that some regions
So there are no disgruntled persons?
No. If we have anyone, it's going to come to my notice, and I'm going to mention that now. I'm well aware that some few regions, or one or two regions, had. Ashanti region, for instance, there's this youth organizer hopeful who I'm told was vetted out. Now, I'm told after painstaking job when he appealed, basically they looked at it and said, well, he ought to be cleared because
so
what is still on of it, he's back again. There are other places where we have that, but as we speak now, we don't really have so much of that at hand.
But you do have something.
Yes,
because you said you don't have so much of it, but you do have people who have issues.
I'm speaking to what I know, and this is a holistic picture I am painting. And I'm saying
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I just want to understand better what you're saying.
Very well.
So there are still outstanding issues.
You can say that
to be dealt with.
There may be outstanding issues to be dealt with, but very inimical, very little, and would not be, if you like, injurious to the process at all.
Okay. So who's voting tomorrow?
Well, those voting tomorrow, we have total of 5,450 delegates expected to cast their votes. And those who are to vote include the constituency executives, and of course, we include also the TESCON members of our party. And you know, when we say TESCON, the tertiary, arm of our party members. We also have the regional executives who are going to be part of it. Council of Elders of the party in the various regions will be part of it, and sometimes the patrons and all that. These will put together, we're expecting over 5,450 delegates across board. I mean, every region has its own. For example, if we take Ashanti region, for instance, we are looking at 906 delegates to go into it. And if you take Brong Ahafo, we're looking at 574 people expected to vote. And then if you take Central region, we have 469 expected to vote, as it were. And then we have Eastern region and so on and so forth. All in total, we are expecting about 5,450 delegates. When it comes to also the candidates who are contesting for various positions, we're putting together and we have 404 people contesting for various positions nationwide. Okay. And it's also on board.
Okay, so the real vote begins at what time? Because you said it's part of a bigger picture, which is a delegate conference.
That is excellent. That is, I like this last bit of your questioning, because I wouldn't be able to sit here to say with precision that 1 o'clock is going to be time that we start, because it's the process, like I said. It's a delegates, regional annual delegates conference. Okay. At that conference, we are going to have the secretary delivering a statement on the state of the party in the region. We're going to have the chairman doing same. We're going to have the regional treasurer also accounting for, if you like, the pairs of the party in the region.
So these regional executives are those who are outgoing, if you like. They are the
outgoing regional executives.
So give an account of what they've done over the period.
Absolutely. They will give an account of what they've done. But then you see, to be fair to the system, what the party has done is to institute or put in place a committee for these elections. So that if you are even a regional executive and you are contesting in that election, you don't play a role in the process for fear of, if you like, manipulating the system. So what we have done is to ensure that every region has an election committee, okay? And members of such election committee will not be candidates in the elections in that region. Okay. That's what we have done as well. So that at least whatever information that you need pertaining to the organization of that election or arrangement of that election, you go to the election committee to deal with you. Okay. Yes, you are a substantive regional executive, you are a substantive regional chairman, but maybe you are contesting again. So you don't play a role in the election process, but then you have a role to play as an executive who has an account to deliver on, to the party people in the region regarding your stewardship and regarding what the state of the party is in that region. Okay, so I want to say thank you, but what it means is that right after the elections, we get to know, is the declaration also going to be done there and then? Yes, it's a simple majority, and basically it's going to be declared there. I mean, when we get to where we're supposed to do the election, you go through the election, they go through the casting of the ballots, and when they're done, transparency, you pour it there, sorting out is done, and of course, the electoral commissioner who has been tasked to handle the election will declare the same results for us. And if you disagree with the results? Yeah, it depends on your reason for disagreement, for disagreeing with it. And of course, everyone has his rights. And of course, the right of a party member doesn't even, if you like, supersede the right of a Ghanaian. Basically, whatever the Ghanaian constitution says, per Article 33 thereabout, it says if you are aggrieved and you are not so happy about some process and you feel that your rights have been trampled upon, you can resort to whatever you want to do. However, let me add this. Every subscriber to our party must do this, if you like, challenge with recourse to what our party says. Okay, all right. That is Article 4 of our party says that if you have grievances, exhaust the internal, if you like, structures. And when you exhaust the internal structures put in place or channels put in place before you can resort to the law court. All right, National Nasara Coordinator of the NPP, I want to say thank you. You're aspiring national youth organizer, but that is sometime in June, correct? Sure. We're hoping it's going to be sometime in June. Yes, it's going to be sometime in June. We're yet to have the regulations for the national elections coming out. We're yet to discuss the processes on how the if you like, the forms will be ruled out to be sold and all that. But I know it's going to be somewhere in June.
Okay, so I know what I do know is that you're not going unopposed, so I can only wish you well.
Well, I'm not going to oppose, but it looks more like unopposed anyway.
Okay.
Your hard work talks about.
We wish you well. We'll see what happens in the end. Kamal Dean Abdullahi, National Nasara Coordinator of the NPP. We've been talking about a regional delegates conference that's coming up tomorrow, ending in a regional executives election. You're watching News Desk. Stay with us.